Recording in progress.
I guess that means we're here and we made it.
That means we're here. That means you're seeing both of us on one screen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was like an awkward. I didn't get a chance to give you a good hug. So here we are. I am Megan Holmes, and I am actually in Michigan. I'm usually at my store outside of St. Louis, Missouri, the Needlepoint Clubhouse, but instead we're on Melissa's turf right now. Melissa McLeod, owner of.
So this week we are hosting the Pointing It Out podcast in Grosse Pointe, Michigan, where my shop, The Wool is.
Exactly
right. Have, I don't know, about 80 people in this building.
Well, that's what I was gonna actually start off by saying. So first of all, if you have just started tuning into the Pointing It Out podcast, you will not know that we have been doing this for several years now. And we started doing retreats about 2 years ago almost, or was it a year and a half?
2.5. You did the first one in the fall.
Amazing. So we had about 30-ish people in St. Louis, and then we had last year, I think 60-ish people up here in Detroit. And then however it goes, we kind of been flippy-flopping back and forth.
Fall in St. Louis, spring in Detroit.
Right. And I will tell you, first of all, it is beautiful here in Detroit this weekend. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. I don't know if this is going to work. Melissa's going to be like, why are you dilly-dally? But you got to see this, you guys. So Melissa has the awesome opportunity to host a retreat off-site because her shop doesn't have really a great amount of space to have stitchers in the shop. But what that means is, number one, we get to check out really cool venues. And what that also means is that more people get to attend because the venue is larger. And so it's just super fun. What we've got is 60 participants.
60-ish. I think there's 62.
Okay. She gave all these statistics at the beginning of the day today, which was
remember 33 states,
yep,
2 Canadian provinces, and
the District of Columbia.
Yeah, Washington, D.C.
Which is very cool. So lots of people from all over the place. In fact, we were sitting out there a minute ago and a woman, so we're in a, Melissa, describe what this is. This is like a community.
We call it the Grosse Pointe Farms Boathouse, but it's a community center. It happens to be in our city park, our Grosse Pointe Farms City Park. The marinas around us. Lake St. Clair is right in front of us. Lake St. Clair joins. I was giving a little geography lesson earlier.
I like it.
It's part of the Great Lakes system of lakes. So I always do it this way, but actually my daughter corrected me. All of the Great Lakes dump into Lake St. Clair, which then goes through the Detroit River onto Lake Erie.
Love it. So very cool. So we are in a place where it's a community sort of area. And so my point was, I went out to the ladies' room earlier and there was a woman staring in like, what is going on in there?
What are all the
and I said,
doing?
Because, and she was like, what, are people needlepointing? Or no, I think she said, are people doing needlework? And I said, yeah. And she goes, are they selling it? And I was like, no, they're just sitting here stitching. And she was like, what? And I said, and they're from all over the country. She goes, all over the country? People came from all over the country to sit here at needlepoint. It's a very bizarre thing to describe to people who have absolutely no idea about our industry, but it is really something to behold, I will tell you. So when you see all these people sitting here just hanging out, stitching, making new friends, it is worth all of the time and effort that it takes to put on an event like this. So it is just absolutely super fun. But what I think is also very cool and sort of what we're going to use as kind of the fodder, if you will, for this particular podcast is the fact that all these people came here. Many of them have never been to Detroit. Many of them have never been to the state of Michigan. Correct. Some of them have never been to the Midwest. And so here we are. And what we want to talk about is kind of people coming from all over the place, what motivated them to come and what their observations are and what maybe they found here as entertainment besides just sitting here in this beautiful space stitching, which is the best part. But some people had some great ideas of ways to kind of connect either on their way here or as they were intending to spend time here in Detroit. So I'm going to go grab some friends. Melissa's going to get back to doing all the things that she needs to do, the hostess duties. And so I'm going to put you on pause for a second. So there's going to be a tight little like what do we call that? Like a little skip in our beat here. And then I'll be right back. So is that everything we wanted to say?
I think so.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, you guys, I am back. I am back with my friend Stephanie. So what's really funny is I've met Stephanie on Instagram multiple times. In fact, I know we've messaged and I think we've probably even talked on the phone. We've done some business together through our shop, but I've never met Stephanie in person. And so here she is. And so sort of the topic, as I mentioned earlier, of this kind of episode of this podcast is to talk about how when people come to Michigan, like sort of how have they ever been here? Like, what are you finding interesting to do here in Detroit? And so what we just found out. So first of all, Stephanie lives in Chicago.
Yes,
And you participate in Stitch Club Chicago, right?
I run Stitch
You
Club
ran
Chicago.
it. I couldn't remember. if
Yeah,
you were helping with
well,
that.
Alexandra was kind of originally, and then I took over, so.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you may have seen on, she calls it Snelson, so I always say S. Nelson Stitches. And I think you hosted an event at your home. not
I
too long
did, I
ago.
had a Valentine's Day canvas exchange.
It looked fabulous. So if you saw that, this is the gal behind the awesome party. But so Stephanie kind of came here alone, like
Yes.
traveled up here on your own.
Yeah, and booked it by myself. Yeah.
Very good. Which, so first of all, what is your impression of doing this by yourself? Like,
So I have always kind of done things like this by myself. I've done
Okay.
yoga retreats by myself, and so I'm very introverted, so it is a little scary, but you, at least, you know, you have needlepoint in common with
Yes.
everyone, so there's always something to talk about, and
for sure.
I don't know, like, it's kind of like a little escape to do something I like doing.
Yeah, and it's like not doing the same thing you always do. Although it's so funny. So Melissa created this great Facebook group for anyone who is attending this retreat to kind of talk about like, what are your interests and what are you doing? And when are people arriving? And does anybody want to share rides and all those kinds of things? And Stephanie put out there that you were looking for.
I was looking for some workout buddies.
Yeah, that's right. And it's Pure Bar, right?
Yes,
And so you were able to find.
yeah, there's a Pure Bar, it's actually like a 5-minute walk from the shop, and so it's very close, and I booked a class this morning.
Very good. And you went.
And I went, and it was, and everyone was so friendly there too.
Okay.
They were like, welcome from Chicago, like, they were all just friends and welcoming. I felt like I was like part of the community already.
So good. And so you also said that you've actually been here to the state of Michigan before, obviously not too far from home.
Right. So, yes, I've been to the state of Michigan. Actually, I didn't mention this. We did a mini ski trip up in Boyne earlier
Oh,
this
nice.
year.
Okay.
But the hotel I was mentioning that we're staying at for the retreat is the same hotel I stayed at with my husband when we got our dog, because our dog was from a farm in Michigan.
It's so fun. So what's been very fun is to talk to people about whether they've been here before. Obviously, everyone came for this retreat and to talk to each other about needlepoint, but then people are finding things to do in the community and also meeting other people who have similar interests. I don't know if you had anybody to go with you to the bar class this morning, did you?
No, no takers.
Takers,
But
rats.
Melissa, the owner of Bowl and the Floss, the other host of
Yes.
this retreat, said she went there for many years before the pandemic. So
Gotcha.
there is some needlepoint ties to the Pure Bar.
That's pretty funny. So then the other thing is that in Chicago, you've got multiple shops that you're able to look at, but you've never been to the Wool and the Floss before today?
No, or before last night.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. There was a retreat at the, or excuse me, a reception at the shop last night. But so what is your, like, how did it feel different from your local shop? Was it similar? Did it have a different vibe or?
I think the biggest thing I noticed right when you walk in is there's like a display of Detroit themed canvases and
Oh, cool.
Michigan canvases that caught my eye because some of them are Wool and Floss exclusives.
Oh, right,
So
right. That's of course.
that always piques my interest. Going to a new shop is like seeing like, oh, what can I only get here? And
Yep.
especially it's kind of like commemorate a visit.
Yep.
So
And
I'm
so you
holding
bought
one.
something?
Yes. it's
So
a-
she
a
bought-
Motown
So
canvas.
this is from Melissa Prince, I think, right? Yes, Melissa Prince. And I don't know if this one's actually exclusive to Melissa's shop.
I don't think it's exclusive, but it's definitely not one I see in Chicago.
Yep.
So to be able to see it and kind of commemorate. the
Check it
trip.
out. And then you probably got some threads.
I did. I got a really cool, I don't know if you can like, it's coming across, but it's kind of like a rainbow silver. And so I got a cool fireworks. It's like silver and rainbow that
Awesome.
matches perfectly.
Very
So,
good. All right. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for being
Yes.
willing to share some of your experiences. So, so that was just the first stop on our little tour of retreatants. And so I'm going to take a pause and I'm going to go find some more friends and I'll be right back. Bye. Well, where's my? All right, guys, we're back and I have a new set of friends. And yes, I have four friends in this shot. So, as we have talked about, the sort of concept of this particular episode is going to a retreat in a new place that maybe you may have never been before and sort of finding your way and what kind of adventures you found along the way and sort of your observations. So first of all, let me introduce this group of friends who I don't think were really good friends all the way through until just.
Connected here and there, and now.
And now all in person, isn't that awesome?
Couple hours ago.
Good. So this is Sarah. Sarah is SK Lang 01 on Instagram. This is Emily. You might recognize her from Stitch by Stitch Larchmont Insta fame.
Yes.
I did. I saw her in the lobby. I was like, hey, wait, I know you.
Yes, that's me.
So she's here. And then we've got Caroline, who is now living in Georgia. And you're gonna have to say the CBM. So the CBM Stitch and Sip. Oh, I love that. CBN Stitch and Sip. And it's not just tea that she's sipping, but who knows? And then we of course have Leslie, I Heart Needlepoint, right?
Yes.
I.heart.needle NDLPT. NDLPT. So Leslie, you've been on here before, right? No.
Yes, I was in the original Pointing It Out podcast.
Leslie is a podcast retreat OG. The rest are newbies, I think.
Yes.
And so Leslie brought her friend Caroline, and then Caroline, they all knew Sarah, and then Emily got involved. I don't
I
know.
was just running and I met them before the race.
Yeah.
And we met them.
So back to the point. So these girls all knew they were coming to Detroit. And was it you, Leslie, that came up with the idea?
So it was Sarah first.
Okay.
Yes.
Who influenced me.
But she broadcasted it. So it worked out perfectly. I come up with the idea and then let somebody else execute. It's perfect.
Do you know what? That's how Melissa and I were. I'm like,
Exactly.
hey, let's do this. And she's like, okay, let me organize that and what date we need to do it and what time we need to sign up.
Yeah.
Teamwork. So, Sarah found out that there was a
There's
race.
a 5K in Detroit this weekend.
And it was
right
this morning?
before- It was perfect. It was this morning in Comerica Park where the Tigers play.
And what did they call it? D?
I ran the D.
I ran the D. So they have the medal to prove it, the picture to prove it. They actually have the medal to prove it. Look at this thing. This is like,
It's
like
like Mr. T.
I think this is a bottle opener. That's all I'm gonna say here. Look at that. If you don't use
Oh,
that. as a
perfect.
bottle
Oh,
opener-
we can. It probably is. It definitely is.
See, I didn't run the race, but I actually know what the medal is used for. So in fact, I'm not sure that you all, Emily, are you a runner?
No, I ran a previous life, but we did not run the DB.
We walked. We walked.
And
We
so
still
in
finished.
record time, and it ended on the warning track, is that?
Yeah.
Yes. The stadium, how fun is that?
So
So,
you have pictures like at home plate together. Yes.
so good, so you hit a home run with that.
Of course.
So, had any of you ever been here to Michigan before?
Well, I used to live in Detroit. So I lived on the west side of the city, but yes, so
All right,
we moved out.
so it feels kind of like coming home.
100%. Yeah.
Awesome, I forgot about that,
Excited to
that's
visit.
exactly right. And Emily, but
I'm from Michigan. I'm from Kalamazoo, Michigan. So that's how I knew about Wilmington originally. And I have been to the store one time. I made my mom drive me out here, even though it's really far from where I'm from. And so I've been here once, and I went to Michigan. In Ann Arbor also. So I have a lot of Michigan connections.
you all know that I'm a Michigan
Yeah.
State
Go green.
fan, right?
Yes,
The green
I
and
know,
white.
I feel like there's a lot of Michigan State energy, but it's fine. It's
Very
fine.
good. And Caroline?
I came as a child, because
Okay.
my mother went to high school outside of Detroit.
Very good.
I came to Michigan once for a family wedding, but that was my only.
You guys are kind of like new.
So,
Yeah.
like a new.
Takes, quick hot take. So you've been to the city of Detroit. It's been a while. What's your hot take on the city now?
I mean, it's been regentrified. So
That's
like around the stadiums, it's all cleaned up and nice and great restaurants and it's changed a ton.
A lot of fun. Hot take from anybody else? You guys have a hot take?
It's been fun to see like a new city, and I'm a big baseball fan, so I did wear my St. Louis Cardinals hat. And this morning to represent.
Well done. So, and this is your, also, you said first, so your second time at the Woolman Floss. So you have shops near around you, but what, do you have sort of an observation about why the Woolman Floss might be different, or what felt different to you from the shop that you're used to going to? Anybody?
I think it had more character than the shopping in the.
So Melissa's shop is very cool. There's like little nooks. It's sort of an old house.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they can really merchandise well because there's lots of little nooks and crannies and
It's like an adventure. You don't know where you're gonna get around the corner, and then you're like, oh.
and there's bars.
It's also the same thing, like there's a surprise, right? You're like, oh, but I didn't see that. Oh, so every time you go in, you see something different because it's all the nooks and crannies.
Very good. So I hope that we are continuing to help you decide that you need to go to a needlepoint retreat in a different city and check some things out. So thanks, ladies.
Yes, thank
you.
you.
Thank you. And I'll be back with another friend in just a minute. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, guys. I'm back with a new friend, of course. This is Juliana. I think I asked if it was Juliana or Juliana.
Juliana.
Juliana is accurate. So, again, we're talking about why go to a podcast retreat or why go to a retreat in general. You know, hot takes on the city of Detroit, what you've done. And so I was talking to Juliana earlier and how did this come up? I said something about, okay, so Juliana met a friend.
Yes.
Who actually is coming to St. Louis for a class in June. So
Yes.
they hit that off right away. And then Juliana said, no, wait, so we're going to Kansas for that? And we were like, wait, what?
Yeah, that's not the story.
Anyway, the point is, it's not the story at all.
Do you want me to tell you the story?
You want to hear the whole story?
Yes, of course. This is a good story. So I've never been to a retreat ever, right? But I love needlepoint and I love the clubhouse and I love Will the Floss.
And you've traveled a lot.
I've
Like
traveled all over the
internationally.
world. Oh yeah,
all over the place.
Southeast Asia, India. I mean,
right.
these places are scary places. So anyway, not always, but sometimes. So you have to have your wits about you. So anyway, I came back to the Midwest because, I got into, I won
Podcast
this
retreat,
which
you won
I
the lottery.
highly recommend. Or maybe I shouldn't recommend.
It's okay. It's all right. It's all
I
good.
want to come again.
It's all good.
But anyway, I got so excited and I got my ticket out here and then I got in my rent-a-car and I was driving and I realized I had no idea where I was ever. I mean, like I had no idea where am I because one sign said Chicago, the other one said Detroit, and one said Bridge to Canada.
Now let's clarify something. Juliana lives part of the time in the state of Florida and part of the time in Boston.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so back to the story.
Not that Boston's easy to navigate either, but.
I mean, I was in
there's
Boston.
no bridge to
I used
Canada.
to travel to the Boston during the big dig and I found myself going in circles and I was like terrified. And I was like, I'm never getting home. I'm never getting to the
That
airport.
was
But-
best for about 25 years.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, I highly recommend, once you get it, I've never been to the Midwest. Downtown Detroit is an interesting place, but you don't have to stay there, meaning we have a great hotel, but you don't spend much time in downtown. You come out to gorgeous
I mean, we already did a panoramic view of this.
Grosse Pointe, Michigan. There's nothing gross about this.
No. You're exactly-
Zero. Will and the Floss is just gorgeous and I get to go to the clubhouse next month, so I'm thrilled.
So, but the reason I brought up the Kansas, Missouri
Okay, so
thing
the
is because- so
Kansas,
she's never
Missouri
been to the
thing.
Midwest before.
So
I'm
one of
giving her trouble
the
about that.
highlights, there's so many highlights to retreat, but one of the highlights is meeting people with the same wonderful passion you have, which is stitching. So anyway, I was again in my rental and I was driving with my new friend Mary,
Mary.
and she said, you're going to the clubhouse, what do you call that
The Musical
workshop?
Clubhouse Kelly Clark class in
Okay.
June. Yeah.
I said, yes. She said, yes. She said, I'll pick you up, fly into Kansas City. I said, I've never been to Kansas before. She said,
Well, I think some of it is, but they don't like to own that side of it.
says to me, St. Louis, St. Louis.
Didn't Mary say something to you like, I'll pick you up at the airport and then you said, I'll see you in Kansas? And she said, well, no, wait, you're flying to Missouri.
Yes.
Because you will be flying into Missouri, not Kansas.
She told me to fly into Kansas City.
To Missouri. So here's the moral to this story. This sweet woman has been all over the world and we're having a blast with her, but we are so delighted that she came to the Midwest. She is going to come back.
And I'm never gonna leave again. You need somebody in your store to work.
I love that.
It's like
laugh
under the
constantly.
rainbow wall.
So the point is, continue to take adventures and continue to do things that are a little out of your comfort zone. You will meet friends who will save you, maybe from yourself.
Oftentimes. And
And,
the Midwest isn't that bad. It's really beautiful.
And thank you for that. I'll be honest, this is one of the most beautiful places in the Midwest, the Great Lakes. There is nothing like the Great Lakes, especially in the summer. It's not so hot like it is where we are in
beautiful.
St. Louis.
It's
And
really
it's just,
beautiful.
it's
You should
very
come.
pretty. So your store, your local needlepoint shop
Mhm.
is typically,
Seaside Needlepoint in Vero Beach, Florida.
okay.
And Erica Wilson on Nantucket.
Oh, fun.
And I learned at Wellesley Needlepoint in Wellesley, Massachusetts.
Oh, my gosh. So what did you observe that might be a little bit different at Melissa's shop, the Wool and the Floss, versus some of the others you've been to? Like, what is your sort of takeaway from her place or?
Super
aha.
helpful. Well, you know what I have to say, all the stores have super helpful staff. I would say larger staff at Melissa's store.
Uh-huh.
Everybody really seemed to know me as a person.
That's great.
And it was just amazing because they've never met me, whereas the other stores have met me. And I mean, I can't say a bad thing about any needlepoint store.
No, and that's not the point. The point was really
Right.
like, is there a new product or something that you saw at Melissa's that you hadn't seen before, or just the observation of the?
Well, you know what I would think, like the organization.
Okay.
Yeah,
Little
and
different.
I loved how it's in a house.
Yes, that's what
and
the last group was just saying. It's like
yeah,
some new adventure around
like
every
nook
nook.
and crannies.
Yeah.
She has, I think, maybe her Halloween, maybe was it like a closet or
Yeah.
like a big closet. It's really very nice. And just, I really felt well known. I kind of felt like I was going into a group of friends.
Yeah, that's what's very cool about this industry.
And
is
I found like
community.
even you, in fact, you never met me, but I watch you on Zoom.
Yeah, that's funny. You know, that's a funny thing
Not
because
soon.
I kind of like look funny like down at
Instagram.
people's because I have to like, I know Instagram names and I know some customers' names, but I don't always know the Instagram name,
But we know you.
the
do.
customer name and the face. And so then I'm like always introducing myself and they're like, yeah, I know who you are. I'm like, I don't know who you are, just tell me your name.
Yeah.
So anyway, but this has been a blast. And this is the PSA to come visit, don't they say Pure Michigan? I think that's their like tourist bureau, like Pure Michigan, like visit Michigan. So
I want to know.
it's pure, it's great, it's beautiful.
Very clean. Except for Detroit, but I shouldn't say that either.
Big cities are big cities,
yeah,
are big
anywhere,
cities, right? That's
anywhere.
exactly right. All right, you guys. I think I might have one more group to bring to you and then we're gonna wrap this up. So
Thank
thank you. Thanks, Juliana. Oh. Hi, guys. I'm back for the last time. I have my last group. I couldn't wrangle anybody else to come on here with me. I mean, of course. But I've got two new friends. Get in here, girls. Get in here, girls. Get in here. Okay, look it. So this is Carrie and this is Stacy.
Hi, guys.
And so these friends, I guess we kind of ran into each other last night a little bit.
Yes.
But we also ran into each other this morning, which I'm gonna talk about in just a second. But so neither of these ladies, I don't think have been to a retreat
No.
before.
No.
And neither have been to Detroit before, except for Carrie says that she came for.
My daughter was in a competitive jump rope tournament.
Have you
and
ever heard? That is so cool.
It was pretty
And it was
neat.
here in the city of Detroit.
It was in the city of Detroit. It's actually very close to where our hotel is. So,
Oh my gosh.
and they were filming the Transformers at the time. So the city was really, really run down on purpose. Because they were
Trying to make
filming.
it look really rustic.
Uh-huh.
So, during that jump roping tournament, did you get to go to Melissa's store?
No, as a matter of fact.
That was a trick question.
No, I didn't even put together that Grosse Pointe, Michigan and Detroit were so close.
Yeah,
So,
it's actually a really good point. And so whenever we intro this podcast, we always say, like, I'm coming to you from suburban St. Louis, and Melissa's coming to you from Grosse Pointe, which is right outside of Detroit, blah, blah, blah. It's really not that far. It's 20 minutes, is it 20 minutes?
20 minutes.
So, and it's really just sort of a straight shot.
It's like St. Louis and Kirkwood.
That's exactly, it really is exactly right. And so we're staying actually downtown. And so we've had a chance to explore, as we kind of talked about, some of the other people have had a chance to explore a little bit of Detroit. But we've also spent a little bit of time, as we mentioned, out here in Grosse Pointe. But so I guess for you all, kind of, what is your hot take? So like, you've never been to a retreat before. You were
No.
thinking, I'd like to do that. I'd like to go to Detroit. Give me just sort of a quick, like, should I try a new city? Should I go to a retreat? What do you got?
Well, I wanted to go to a retreat
Okay.
to meet other people
Yep.
that like-minded, that wanted, that do stitching and want to learn new things from other people. Everybody is so nice. I have had so much fun.
Good.
So much fun and so at ease. Everybody talks to you. It's just
Everybody
really,
you out.
yeah.
And the two of
Every-
you, I'm so sorry.
No.
Pardon me. The two of you traveled together, right?
No.
Well, I mean, we were on the same
Same air-
flight.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
But you know each other from home?
We met.
We've
once
met,
before.
yeah.
And,
yeah.
So I did not know that there was a Stitch Club so close to me. I mean,
In Raleigh.
I think one of the problems is if you're not on Instagram, you don't really know as
Yeah.
much as you need to.
Yeah.
And so I found out through Instagram that there was a Stitch Club Raleigh, which is about 40 minutes from my house.
Okay.
So I
So,
went,
so your local shop is
Needlepoint.com or Chapel Hill Needlepoint.
Mike's
Gotcha.
Chapel Hill
yours is
Needlepoint.
Chapel Hill.
Hi, Nancy.
So, yeah, I Nancy watches. I don't know if she does or not, but maybe you should tell her to. And so what would you, so you're new to going to the Wool and the Floss. And so
Yes.
when you, like, you've been to a couple of other stores, but you came to
Yes.
the Wool and the Floss. So like, what's different or what did you see that you felt like was new or different or?
I mean, Megan, I love your store.
Oh, you're
I
so
mean,
sweet.
it's so
By
just
the way,
inviting.
Carrie has been to the Needlepoint Club. Thank you very much because she has some roots in St. Louis.
Yes, my mother and sister just live right up the street.
Okay,
So it's wonderful.
Sorry, so go ahead.
But
I
I
should have
love
given
your
that
store.
disclosure.
But walking into Melissa's store is like walking into a fairy tale.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like either being, I've never been to London, I'm assuming, you know, and I'm glad the coronation. Well, but it reminds of what I would think or what I would want. And you walk in and it's just like, my gosh, you're waiting for the fairies, you know, to start. It's
Yeah,
just
it's kind
amazing.
of magical because it's
Yes,
kind of got little
absolutely.
nooks. Somebody else was mentioning
Absolutely.
little nooks and crannies. And
Exactly.
It's
And
like
then
someone's home.
it is.
Yeah,
And
It's
every
like walking into someone's home.
every little nook has a different little theme to it.
Cute.
And so all you have to do is, well, let me go find the Christmas theme, you know, room or the thread, you know, theme and everything's up on the walls.
Yeah,
So you're not looking through.
like bins or anything like that.
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
So, you know, it's actually different since I've been here too, because Melissa has since reduced her inventory. What am I trying to say? Gotten rid of yarn.
The
They're close to
knitting,
say
the
it. She doesn't
knitting.
have yarn anymore.
Yeah.
And so when I was here last time, she still had some knitting. And so she has changed things around a lot and she's been able to really kind of merchandise in a way that's a little more magical, to your point. Like a little nook has all these little things. And so yeah, so I observed the same thing. It's very cool. So what about you, Stacy? What do you think about Melissa's story?
Well, it is, first off, it's super, super homey. It's, the minute you walk in, you're relaxed, you're comfortable. There's comfortable seating, there's tables to
It's like a great
sit,
bookstore.
right, to
yeah.
yeah, exactly, to sit and work or have someone help you with whatever you're working on. If you have a question, if you need thread and color suggestions, they're just so warm and welcoming.
It's great.
And I could stay there all day. I would sit at the table and stitch all
And
day
they'd be
there.
like, okay, girl, we
Yeah.
got closing now, closing time,
Yes.
pushing the broom around.
We couldn't get her out last night. I ended up having just to go. I was like,
Oh, that's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
we couldn't get you out.
Sorry, last one at the party. Nope.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I like a good party too. This has been a party weekend. So last night, so today is May the 6th. And yesterday was of course Cinco de Mayo. And so, did either of you get a chance to hit that piñata?
You did.
Yeah, I broke its neck.
So I brought a piñata. We hit it with stretcher bars because I could not bring a bat with me. And so we had a set of stretcher bars that we hit a piñata with. These ladies then woke up at the crack of dawn to celebrate with us, to kind of do a watch. I mean, I don't know whether we were celebrating or we're just nosy, or we're all just nosy Americans wanting to get a glimpse into the royal life. So
Right.
we got up this morning very early to see kind of what was happening with the coronation. And now we're gonna end the day, ladies. You ready for this? It's
Oh, that's
Derby
right.
Day. It's Derby Day. So now we are gonna get ready for the Derby, right?
That's right.
For tomorrow, the Derby.
Changes.
Oh my.
I did
there we go.
pinata earrings yesterday. We
Yes, you did.
coronation. I had Staffordshire dog jammies on this
Mhm.
morning, and now we're derbying. So what I'm saying is that this is just a good party, right?
Oh,
Like,
It
that's
is,
kind of,
exactly. It's just, I cannot tell you how much fun it is.
it's,
I can't wait for the next one.
and my point in bringing this up as far as, hold on, I even put a cherry on my
They
head.
did.
Do you
Yeah.
see this? So someone gave me this little cherry. Isn't that sweet? So the theme of this, I don't even know if I have it on there properly. The theme of Melissa's retreat has been cherries. Of course, Michigan is known for having, is it cherry farms? I guess they.
Well,
they
it's
grow
the
cherries.
cherry capital of the world.
Do they
or
call
something?
orchards or farms? Okay.
Oh, fortune.
We need to get out a little bit more and learn a little bit more about our surroundings. I think that might be, but the moral to that story. But the point is, the point I wanted to make by donning this hat in the end is that I hope that you all agree that we don't really need anything to celebrate. It is certainly fun. But it's just fun to celebrate the needlepoint community, the friends that we can make around a shared hobby, and just get out and see new things and meet new people. You know, we are all now post-COVID scary,
Yes.
and we can
Yeah.
just get out and be with people, and what a joy it's been, don't you think?
Oh, it's.
And what, 30 some states are represented?
Yes, I'm sorry, we brought
30.
it up at the beginning.
Oh, you
Melissa-
did?
Yes,
Okay.
Melissa shared, it's a great group of people from all over the country.
Have you shown like actually?
We did a panorama, we showed it, this is absolutely beautiful, and it is now warm enough here that a young lady is on a jet ski, I was gonna say that a sea-doo. So we are having a great time here. Again, the kind of moral to the story, in my opinion, here is get out, go to a retreat, go to a shop, a new shop that you
New
haven't
shop.
experienced before.
There's so many coming up.
You
There's
can-
so
you
many
can-
retreats.
You can check off on your Pointing It Out podcast 23 and 23.
That's exactly
Right?
right.
Binge
Those are-
review.
LMS, right?
Yes.
That's right. So
That's right.
thank you all for being here.
Thank
for
you. Thank you,
doing this
Megan.
with me. I had to grab some
Wonderful.
people to come onto the podcast with me, and these guys were very gracious to do that for me. So if you have not subscribed to the Pointing It Out podcast, you are here on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. That helps us continue to get the word out. I know a lot of people have mentioned that and I think you just said it here, is like social media and YouTube has helped them learn more about needlepoint.
Absolutely.
More about the industry, more about what shops are available, more what events are available for people to come and find community and meet more friends. So thank you all. Continue to follow us, and we're gonna go continue. I think the Derby's not, I think we're East Coast time, so I think it's not until 7, somebody said.
Oh, really?
So, or maybe 5. 7, 5.
Tonight.
I don't know.
I
So,
don't know.
so if you're watching, you will watch this after the Kentucky Derby. I know one thing, that maybe we will either have a glass of wine or maybe a mint julep. I don't
maybe.
know. Should we
That's
have a
true.
julep? I don't know. Anyway, thank you all. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you all very soon. Bye-bye.